all those that are watching this video. Hopefully you get something out of this video. The reason I do these videos is not for me. It's hopefully for people that are maybe struggling, for people who want to have some hope, for people who want to realize, to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and how it is that I'm doing this. So it's 11 o'clock. It's a Monday. Today is week 9, Monday of week 9. And I haven't been doing a very good job of charting this out, but I kind of want to talk through it week by week and kind of give you an idea of what it's been like to completely change over my diet and what I've done and how I feel. So I don't know if you can tell a difference in my face from the last few videos I did, but it's been, I think, a couple weeks since I did a video. And I'll tell you this, I feel night and day different. So here I am in my car, and my belly used to actually come out and touch the steering wheel. I've lost a total of, when I first started officially charting 9 weeks ago, since then I've lost 44 pounds. Um, and well, I lied. I actually, yeah, 44 pounds. Sorry. I'm trying to like remember different stages. But anyway, so 44 pounds total. My average has been about 4 to 4.5 pounds a week. There have been a couple weeks I've done more than that. In fact, last week I did my best week ever. I did 8.2 pounds last week, total weight loss. Week before was like 6.1. And I was trying to just make sure that I hit that 6.6 pound mark again in this last week, and I did. It was pretty surprising to me to have that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how I feel, like physically and things like that, and kind of go through some detail and what you can kind of expect maybe if you're doing the same kind of thing. So, first of all, just some background. For many, many years, I struggled. I did um, one crash diet after another. I did Body by Vi. I think I called it Body by V, but it's Body by Vi. I did. Um, I've done tons and tons and tons of stuff. And one of the things that I always kind of kept coming back to was juicing. I used to juice my own veggies. I've juiced them for years, and but really, like the biggest factor I think with the juicing is that I was always cheating. Like people have asked, well, you've crash dieted so many times. What makes you think this is going to work? I'll tell you, when you when you really get into the point where you're trying to change your thought processes so you can actually lose weight, it's really definitely it's more in your mind than it is in the food you eat, right? So in your mind, as you start to make choices, you're going to change. You're going to make different choices on what it is that you buy, what it is that you put in your body, and the things that you have in your house. And it's definitely more of a mental game than it is a physical one, and it's kind of crazy to kind of see that transformation. So at this point, again, I've lost 44 pounds, and I've still got about 110 to go. So I just barely hit 310 pounds this last week. Yesterday, technically on Sunday morning, I always weigh Sunday morning after I take a big poo, and I release my bladder, and but without any clothes on, I hopped on the scale and saw it hit 310 pounds, and I about died. I was definitely Sorry about that. I got a phone call. I don't know how that affects these videos, but anyway, so I was expecting for sure to hit 6 pounds. I did not really necessarily expect to hit 8 pounds. That was a huge surprise for me, and I was so grateful. Um, I think there's two reasons I think I hit 8 pounds last week. Is one, I have always, and prior to last week, I've always eaten breakfast prior to going to the gym. I'm hypoglycemic, or I have been, and so like I have to eat a little bit of something, usually in the realm of protein, before I go work out. So like for me to feel full, like I can't have liquids, but for me to feel full, I have to have 3 or 4 eggs along with some veggies. And so usually I have like an omelet or maybe even just a few eggs and like a tomato or something. Um, but last week I had a friend who suggested, not eating breakfast before you go to the gym, and I'm like, but I don't think I can do that. And she's like, you should just try it. I'm like, okay, like I'll try it. I'll give it a try. And I did take my pre-workout, so I have. I'll put links in the description for what I did there. But I have a pre-workout drink that I mix, and it says like 6 ounces of water, and I literally just did 6 ounces of water. That's it. So basically, I went to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, like 5:30, and I've been going at 8:30 after I drop kids off at school. And I feel like I definitely thought I'd be more tired, and I was not. And I definitely thought that I would be like starving, but I was not. And I did my workout, and I went home and I made my normal smoothies. And at the end of the day, I actually felt really good. And I'm like, my metabolism doesn't feel like it's changed. I don't feel like I'm starving. I feel like I got enough of my nutrients, and I feel like I did myself some pretty good favors. Like I felt really good. So I did it again and did it again and I did it again. And throughout this last week as well, I've been researching the way that Arnold Schwarzenegger did his workouts. And of course, he was at the gym 6 hours a day, and I'm not going to spend 6 hours a day. For me, maybe it's 90 minutes at the most, depending on the day. Most days it's an hour, exactly an hour. So you got to hit the gym. You got to make sure you're eating right, right? So last week, my wife found some riced cauliflower at Sam's Club, and there's two variants of it. One of them is just plain cauliflower, where it's just like it's cauliflower that's literally just chopped up into little bits about the size of rice, and it's raw. It's not cooked. There's that we actually used in a not a stir fry, but we had Swedish meatballs. So Swedish meatballs were I think six of them were like 500 calories or something like that. So I had six with a little bit of sauce and my riced cauliflower, and it was actually a really good meal. It was very tasty. I also had a huge amount of asparagus, and I love asparagus. And that's the thing is like when it comes down to doing weight loss, you got to find some vegetables that work. And for the first little while, like you might not be making the best choices with your vegetables, because there's some that are definitely better than others. But the point is, get started with some veggies, even the ones that might not be the best, and then eventually you start transitioning over to better vegetables. And I think that's really important, because like 80% of my diet right now is vegetables. I try to have a little bit of fruit, but like mainly it's vegetables because that's really where the nutrients are at. So I definitely feel like I have more energy this week. Like the last week, I actually struggled to. I would push myself through my workout, but at the end of the workout, it didn't take very long before my pain kind of wore off, and I wanted that high again. I really wanted to feel that burn, and so I find myself doing lunges or push-ups or things like that I normally would have never done, or sit-ups, just because I wanted to feel that pain. I wanted to feel the burn because it makes me feel so good. Like I mean, I'll tell you, like right now, I mean, this is my wife's hoodie, by the way, and we've had it for like I think 3 or 4 years. It's been about 4 years actually, and this was like a size or two too small for me back then, and I've gained in the last 4 years I've gained 75 pounds. So if that gives you any indication, like it's this is a 2XL and it's loose on me. Um, I got to buy at Christmas. I got to buy my. I spent $300 on new pants, and those new pants that I just barely bought no longer fit. I actually had to buy all new pants, and that was that was really dramatic for me because um, I haven't been a size below a size 40 in my whole marriage. I don't think. Maybe the first couple years I was a size 38, and then I ended up buying. I was a size 44. Sorry, I'm all over the place here, but I was a size 44 at Christmas. That's what size I bought, and then I bought a size 38 yesterday. 38 from a 44, and that's crazy. And I bought two different brands, so it wasn't like brand specific, but 38, like that's pretty insane. So I ended up having to cut a couple inches off my belt, and it's a zipper belt, so it's one of those you have to cut anyway. Um, I'm ready to cut another inch off of it because it's actually it's still a little bit too long. And these pants I just bought, the 38s, are feeling a little bit on the loose side. It might just be because I've worn them for a few days and they're kind of getting worn in. But I feel like there's a possibility that I might actually have to do a size 36 before too long. Um, so one thing to note too, like it's kind of interesting. We just bought tickets for a concert in in April, which is technically like it's like 6 weeks away or 7 weeks away. And I've always insisted on having an aisle seat because I want to make sure I have a little bit of extra room to kind of like lean out into the aisle because I'm a big guy. My highest weight I was 354, and I want to have that extra room. I hate little tiny seats in arenas, and so by having an extra space to kind of shift over, it was more comfortable. But now um, I feel like I could probably feel really comfortable even right now in a regular seat without having to have that extra width. But in 7 weeks, it's going to be very different because even the last few weeks, it's been different. Like my wife, we bought a shirt. Literally, we bought a shirt I think it was last Saturday, so like just over a week ago, like 8 days ago now, and it was form fitting at that point. And I tried it on again yesterday after we just washed it and dried it again. Guess what? It's loose. And I've tossed away a whole bunch of my old shirts, and I love it. Katie keeps telling me that I should probably hold on to some of those for some before and after photos, and I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. I should find one. But like, there's one shirt that I bought probably 5 years ago, and I guess maybe it wasn't that long, maybe it was 2, 3 years ago. But it was one of my favorite shirts. Like I liked the way it looked on me, but I hated the fact that I had to get a size. I think it was a 4X, and it was. I mean, it was terrifyingly embarrassing. I hated it so bad. That thing when I had to bump up and buy that shirt, I wanted to just die. But then when I put it on, and it was like it felt like I was wearing a dress. And I shopped in the big and tall section specifically, by the way, and I got the extra long version, the tall version, specifically because I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room because my belly was so big. I didn't want it to like I didn't want to lift up my arms and have my belly like pop out. So that's always embarrassing when that happens. So it was important to have the long, and this one was so long it was like a dress, and it was. I took a picture of me in it, and I'm like, no more. I'm tossing this. This is gone. So um, it's definitely been really good. Like I'll tell you, last week was actually a big struggle for me. Bigger, well, yeah, a bigger struggle. Um, because like there were days where I was kind of like frustrated, thinking I have to eat this salad stuff every day, and I love salad, but like some days you just want a different taste in your mouth. You want something different. So that's why we started branching out and trying different things. We made for one dinner we had we had cheeseburgers, and I made myself a double cheeseburger at home. So two hamburger patties, and they were the 97% or 90% lean. So it was definitely higher or lower fat content, which is definitely what you want. And then so I had two pieces of cheese, and then like lots of tomato, lots of pickles and jalapenos, and a little bit of olive. And then I had zero. I didn't put mayonnaise or anything on it. It was just veggies, and I definitely don't hate that. And you wrap it in a couple leaves of lettuce, and you eat it like a hamburger, and it's amazing. It's so good, and it's more refreshing because you have these huge, thick pieces of lettuce that you can just bite into, and it's so much better than bread. Um, One night we had, oh my gosh, riced cauliflower. Oh yeah, there's another variation of the riced cauliflower that's got peas and carrots and a couple other things in it. It's basically it kind of looks like ham fried rice, um, and it's got a little bit of a flavoring to it. So you just grill some chicken, and you have basically have yourself a little stir fry, and it's really really good. And you can buy this at Sam's Club. It's like $10 for the bag, and the one bag feed my whole family. So it was perfect. Um, there was another night, so we have the zucchini noodles, and if you put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of a pan, cook it on. You have to cook it on hot, and then these zucchini noodles, if you buy in the frozen section at Costco or Sam's, and they cook down really nicely, and I crispify mine a tiny bit so they feel more like noodles and not just like this gooey like vegetable stuff. And then I eat it with a little like on basically it's a bed that I put my some chicken on, and so I just have this huge pool of veggies and then a little bit of chicken on top, and it was amazing. Um, there's also a recipe for zucchini pizza. So you get a zucchini, you cut it in half, you core some of the middle out a little bit, and then you put your toppings on it, and you make it just like a pizza. So you'd have lower sodium sauce, and then maybe instead of a bunch of your meats and stuff, you'd have a little bit more on the vegetable side, like some tomatoes, some olives, things like that. But um, it's like things like that. Like you start to find really cool recipes, and you start to just put these staples in your house: the zucchini noodles, the rice cauliflower, things like that. And that way, it's like you're always having something a little bit different. You're having things that taste normal, but they're just you're kind of starting to change a little bit what's in your house. One thing I did notice is last week I got to the point where I was pretty much kicking almost 100% of the veggies, or not the veggies, sorry, the carbs out of my diet, and I realized I actually needed those carbs to help me like have some carbs in my system. So I kind of have to force myself to eat a little bit of carbs every day. So today, um, I kind of cheated. I hopefully I'm not gonna regret this, but um, for breakfast I had my smoothies, and I felt like my metabolism was definitely moving a lot faster today than normal. I'm not sure if it's just because I only had two meals yesterday, I snack intermittently, but I only had like two main meals. It was like my omelet breakfast and then my dinner at my in-laws. But anyway, so today I had my two smoothies, and then about 10:30, I started getting hungry, and I'm like, if I don't eat something, I'm gonna binge. And so I pulled into McDonald's thinking, okay, I'll just get like a chicken, a spicy chicken, and then take the bun away, and I'll be good. And then the more I got thinking about it, I'm like, I want like a better piece of chicken because I know the McDonald's chicken is probably not the greatest. So I drove across the street to Chick-fil-A and I spent $5 on the same thing that I would have gotten at McDonald's. But for me, it came down to making a choice, and it was making a choice for what was best for my well-being, best for my body, and I knew that, and that's why I did it. So, um, like I said in the very beginning of this video, it's very important to constantly check in with yourself and make sure that you are doing what's best for you, making choices for you. I think most of us we wait and make choices based on what other people's expectations are, what they think we should do, and what they feel for us, instead of doing things for ourselves. And that's really just a weakness that I've had, and I know that it's the same thing for lots of people. So um, there is no magic pill, there's no magic bullet. This is not something that happens overnight. I love looking at myself in the mirror and realizing that like I've lost so much weight. Like even looking at myself here, I'm like, you're beautiful. And I know I've got a ton of weight to go. Like I've still have like 110 pounds. For me, at my most comfortable, like high school weight, like just out of high school, I was 200 pounds, very comfortable, very lean. Well, I was very muscular, and so I don't think I like my bulk is definitely meant to be a little bit on the higher side. I have a lot more muscle than most people, I think, but especially my back. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to get down below 200 pounds. So that's my goal is 200 pounds. I'm at 310 now. So if I can maintain, 4.5 to 6 pounds a week, which I know is probably it's a pipe dream, I should be down to my goal weight by my birthday. Maybe before that, maybe more like Christmas. It just depends, I guess, on how if I plateau or not. But with honestly, with the things I've done in the past, with the binge or not the binge eating, but the crash dieting, it was definitely not easy or not hard to fall back into my old patterns, especially when it comes down to like eating out, because like there's just not very good choices a lot of places. So what I have to start doing is, and I by the way, I did start counting calories originally. I was using my Fitness Pal regularly, very religiously, to keep track of my calories to make sure that I was doing everything. But what I noticed when I was doing that, and this is what was dangerous for me, is I burn about 800 calories a day during my workout. So by putting that in, what I noticed is I start to pay attention to the total calories I have left, and then I start to like eat some of those calories that I worked out, and I need to stop that. So I basically stopped counting my calories because my breakfast every day, it doesn't really change. So that stays the same. And then what I do is I pay attention to like as long as I have a good clean lunch, which is usually at home, as long as I can control that lunch, excuse me, then we're in pretty good shape. And then dinner is usually under a controlled situation as well because we have dinner at home with family. So as long as those three things are in place, we're in good shape. Worst case scenario, I'm out to eat for lunch. I'm out to eat at dinner. I keep my meal to right around 500 to 600 calories, and I try and keep it more on the vegetable and meat side, less red meat than anything, and definitely more fish, more chicken, and not like red meat. I mean, I know some people believe red meat is horrible and it will kill you, blah blah blah. Some people believe it doesn't really matter. Personally, I don't really care. The reason I don't eat a lot of red meat is because it takes longer for my body to process, and so for me, like I want to make sure that my body has the best chance of success. So I really hope this helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the message below. I would love to help out. Um, I'm doing these videos because I feel like some people really maybe need a little bit of an extra hand because I kind of wish sometimes I had someone to help me out. But um, it does change week to week. Some weeks are harder than others. Some weeks are super duper easy. Like this week, I woke up this morning and I felt like a million bucks. I felt like there's nothing that could possibly stop me. And then I get my wife's jacket today because I couldn't find my hoodie that I wanted to wear. And I realized like this is pretty cool to be able to fit in these clothes I haven't been able to fit in for years. So there's always a positive at the end of the week. And really, like you're gonna have days that suck. You're gonna have days that are just so hard you can't really make a good choice for the life of you. You got to understand, as long as you make good choices, like make a good choice every time you eat, do something you wouldn't have done before. and you'll start to see some major success. And I look forward to sharing another video here soon, sharing some more success, some more insight, and hopefully it will help you out. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment, and